All right, are we live? I think we're live. What's up, TKA? Good morning. Thanks for joining us for chapel this morning. We're super excited because this is Digital Citizenship Week. And if you don't know what that is, it's just a week where we all, staff and students, take a time to just be appreciative of technology and to reflect and see, are we doing some things that are healthy habits to practice incorporating technology in our life? But before we get talking with these cool people behind me, we have an announcement from our senior class officers.
Hello, everyone. These are senior class officers. So I'm Zach, Silas, Sarah, and Joe. We're just here to give a little announcement about Warnerlude and give you guys some details just to help you guys clear things up.
It's going to be at Hayes Mansion on February 18th from 7 to 10:30, and dinner will be provided.
Some dress details, it's like cocktail attire, so for guys that's like suits and girls that's like mid-length dresses or knee-length.
Hi, so some things about pricing. So we're going to start selling tickets next week on Thursday and Friday in the quad. So early bird sale is Thursday and Friday, so if you buy it in the quad, it'll be $90. And you can pay with cash, check, or your credit card. And then for the rest of the days from January 31st to February 9th, it's gonna be $100. So why not get the deal next week? And that's it, thank you.
Thanks, guys. I do have one more announcement for you guys. We have a new exciting position opening up for students. At King's, we really want to celebrate diversity, and a way that we want to do that is we are forming a new school diversity council. And that council is going to be comprised of both staff and students. And this group is going to help plan activities to promote cultural awareness and diversity on campus. So it would be partnering with Stuco to plan events, and we are so excited for this new opportunity for King's to have another student leadership position. So you received an email yesterday, and there is an application process in there. Applications are due on February 4th. So if you are somebody that is really into planning events, that you have a heart just for elevating students to see and embrace their cultural differences while still being, all one, a child of God, I would really strongly encourage you guys to apply. You can apply if you are in 6th grade all the way to 12th grade. And again, applications are due on February 4th, and you can find more information in your email. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Before we hear from our panel today, I am going to say a prayer, and then we'll introduce them. So please bow your heads with me. God, thank you so much for this time that we just get a pause from the school day, and we just get to sit and spend time with you and just reflect on your word and who you are. God, thank you so much for the students that are willing to just share their hearts. And I know it's a little nerve-wracking and vulnerable, but I just pray that as they share, that the people that are watching and listening, both students and staff, can just be touched by their vulnerability, their willingness to share. And thank you again for just this ability to live stream this technology. Thank you for the King's Academy. We love you. In your name, amen. All right, without further ado, I would like to introduce our student panel who will be talking about digital citizenship. Go ahead.
My name is Jason, and I'm in the 6th grade, and one piece of technology that I cannot live without is probably my computer.
My name is Drew, and I am in 7th grade, and one piece of technology that I cannot live without is probably my phone.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm in 8th grade, and one piece of technology I couldn't live without is my iPad.
Hey, I'm Bia. I'm in 9th grade, and I couldn't live without my MacBook because I use it for everything school.
Hey guys, I'm Sammy. I'm currently in 10th grade, and I think one piece of technology I could not live without is probably my phone.
Hey, I'm John. I'm in 11th grade, and I honestly think I could go without technology.
My name is Jason. I'm a senior now. I couldn't live without my phone. It's like my best friend.
Your phone is your best friend. Awesome. Well, just so you guys know that are watching, we actually got together and had lunch on Tuesday and just kind of were talking about like what it's like to have technology in our life, the good and the bad. And man, I was so convicted. Like they said some things that I was like, oh, like that applies to me. So I'm super excited for you guys to hear from them. And I wanted to open it up with just a couple like, hey, raise your hand if, okay? So raise your hand if you play video games. Cool. Raise your hand if you have Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Oh, yeah, me and Mr. Barry, and then probably all your teachers. Cool. Let's see, what else should I ask you guys? Raise your hand if you use technology for things outside of school. Hi, everyone. Okay, cool. Raise your hand if you have an iPhone. If you have an Android. What else is there? Google phones? Are those things? Low pixel? Okay. Raise your hand if you have a flip phone. All right. Cool. All right, so let's go around and talk about, on average, how much do you think you guys actually use technology each day? Cap, I want to start with you.
I'd say like, I don't know, like 7 hours a day. Probably use it that much.
Is that outside of school?
Outside of school, I'd say like 3 hours if it's outside of school. 3 to 4 hours if it's outside of school, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Outside of school, probably like 30 minutes. If I'm gonna be really honest, yeah.
Well, that's really impressive. I'm gonna have to say I probably, outside of school, use my phone and other technology probably 3 to 4 hours, same as Kathy. So.
For me, it's a big, it depends on if I have anything planned that day or if I have extracurriculars or the amount of homework I have. So, yeah, it can range from like 1 to 3 hours outside of school and schoolwork, because schoolwork, I use my technology mostly to do schoolwork.
Yeah, I agree. I also use technology mostly for school, and outside of that, I don't use it that much.
I use technology probably 4 hours, including school and video games, stuff like that.
I probably use technology 3.5 hours plus for non-school activities.
Okay, 30 minutes? How do you do that?
I'm an old man. I mean, you can ask my friends. I really don't use my phone.
That's good. That's good. Speaking of phones, at what age do you guys think you should be allowed to have a phone?
I don't know, probably like 6th grade. That's when I got my first phone, but it was a little slide flip phone. So I think 6th grade is appropriate because, I mean, you're going up to the big leagues like middle school. So 6th grade sounds about right. So like 12, 13.
Yeah, I'd say it's up to the parent and the situation, probably.
Yeah, I got my phone in 6th grade, but literally the only thing I could do was like contact my parents. And so I think you get more freedom as you get older.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the child and their parent, and if the parent thinks the child is responsible enough to have a phone. But yeah, I think middle school is around the right time where kids are starting to get more independent, like going to school, and they need to have some sort of contact.
I think around middle school, because like if you have to contact your parents for an emergency or something, they can always be right there for you.
Yeah, I agree with middle school. I think it also depends. Like, if you're going to a camp or something, I feel like it's really good to be able to contact people. And I think you should start out with a flip phone, though.
Why start out with a flip phone?
Because you're limited to just calling and texting rather than being able to like play games constantly. You know.
It's crazy because like, what, you said 6th grade. How old are you, Jason?
I'm 11.
You're 11. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I didn't get my first phone until I was 16 because my parents were like, oh, why do you need a phone until you can drive? Which is just crazy. We had to do, have you guys ever used a payphone before? not a pager. I'm not that old, okay? No, a payphone where my parents would drop us off at the mall, give us a quarter, and we'd put it in the payphone. And that was like when we called them to go home, which is kind of risky when you think about it. Like, what if that quarter didn't work? Yeah. And then I lost it, and I'm like stranded.
Have a backup quarter.
What?
Have a backup quarter.
I know, but 50 cents, that's hard to come by, so. Anyways, okay, so what about social media? At what age should you have like access to TikTok, Instagram? And I'm gonna ask too, who decides this? Should you be able to decide this, or do your parents need to decide?
I think it should be like 8th grade or high school, because some of these different social medias can be really toxic when you're younger, and you can get into a lot of stuff that, I don't think younger kids should be getting into. I think that it should be a civil conversation between the child and the parent, kind of like, hey, this is what I'm thinking with social media, and like they can kind of have a conversation about it.
But how do you have a conversation with your parent?
I guess that's a kind of a difficult question. It's different for everyone. I would say start by just bringing it up to them, maybe over dinner, be like, hey guys, what do you think about blah, 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 me getting Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever. And kind of like test out the water before you completely just go out and ask them, so yeah.
I feel it's good to have social media so then you can like know what's going on around the world. Not just like in your isolated area. I feel like it's good to know like what's going on and how it's affecting people.
I think high school is a good age because then you get committed to posting more pictures or making more TikToks on school days, and you don't focus on your homework.
I think to make the decision, it should definitely be like a collective decision between parents and children. Because I think the parents know how responsible their child is, and if they will like get addicted to it or spend way too much time on it, or if they can like handle all the, as you said, all the toxic stuff on there. Yeah, but I think it's like a collective decision and depends on responsibility and how, like, if they can like get away from it.
Okay, should your parents have your password for social media or even your phone? Let's just go with a yes or no. How about that? Let's start with Jason and we'll just boom down the line.
Probably yes.
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 Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna say phone password yes, social media no.
Shoot, that's a hard one. I'd say yes. It's, but at the same time, I feel like there should be like a respect of privacy, with your parents. But I do think they should be able to, like, if they want to check it, they should have full access to it. Yeah.
Yeah, no shot. I'm not letting them have access to that. Maybe my my phone password, but other than that, that's it. Yeah.
Do your parents currently know your passwords to social media and your phone?
I don't have social media, but I have told my dad my phone password, but he forgets. So, but if he needs to, I'm just like, oh, here it is.
Cap, just to clarify, your mom does not have your password.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Hey, Bia, you had mentioned something about like social media and toxicity or things like that. So I guess I kind of want to know, like, how has social media like helped or hurt, whether it's your self-image, your daily life, on a positive or negative way, in a positive or negative way?
For me, I feel like it can be a mix of both. For me, since I don't have social media, it can be a little negative because everyone's always telling me to get it and kind of trying to pressure me, and I'm like, I don't want to.
Why? Why don't you want it?
I feel like it could become a big distraction to me, and I want to like focus on other stuff, And it should be like my decision to get it, not my friend's decision, And I kind of don't want to deal with all the stuff that you have to deal with, like, who do I follow? Will I be judged for who I follow? Like, if I don't follow someone back within 5 hours, what happens? I don't know. So there's just so much stuff that I don't understand about social media and that I don't really care to learn right now because I want to focus on like school and the extracurriculars that I am really invested in. So yeah, sometimes when I need to rush homework, I don't want to like get a notification from Instagram, be like, hey, I'm like, okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot of positives and negatives to it. Positives, like you can see what your friends are doing, you can see what your family's doing. You can send your friends funny photos, funny videos, you know, stuff like that. But I also feel like there's also can be a really negative side to it. It's really demeaning, and I feel like it can also just make people really start like being really selfish and think about themselves a lot because it's all about you. And so I think you have to be careful. But I think there's a good mix of both. So it's just kind of I feel like it's how you use it, you know.
Like you said, like there's definitely a great positive connection that can happen over social media because technology has definitely brought us together because like you can speak to someone on the other side of the world, you know. So yeah, like the one reason I would, if like I got social media, would be to connect with friends that I haven't seen in a long time, or so I can talk to my family because they like all live in Brazil. So
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you said. Connecting with friends is like a really big thing. However, the negative, I think it's some people put it like in front of school, like before they're done with their homework, they get on social media and it just sets them back. Like social media doesn't need to be before your schoolwork.
On behalf of most students probably listening, that's probably really hard to do, right? It's hard for me when I have work to do and I'm like, oh, but I could be on my phone. Great. Okay. Do you have, Sammy?
I was just gonna quickly add, like, I think we were talking about making connections with friends. I think that can be positive, as everybody was saying, but also if you think about it, it can be really negative. You can kind of, I remember one time I opened social media and I saw all my friends hanging out without me, and I know a lot of other people have experienced that too. So I think that can also be a pretty big negative of social media.
yeah, that's also why I don't like to be on social media. I also kind of ask my friends to not post pictures of me because I don't feel comfortable being on there. They definitely have more often because I'm like, oh, it's okay, I'm wearing a mask. Like, but like just, it's sometimes like mostly on a private account, but if they post it without my permission, I'm kind of just like, okay, that's okay. Just like very politely back away.
FOMO's real, like when you see it, and I think you even experience it at my age and probably older too, like when you see things and you're like, oh, why wasn't I invited or included, and that can hurt. What are some other things that like social media does that brings up drama, like in your friend groups? Cap, I know that you had mentioned something about Snapchat and...
Like, I forgot what I said on that, Tuesday?
Friends list.
Oh yeah, friends list, like being left unopened. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of hurt me sometimes, like, or being left undelivered for a while. So like those kind of things, or best friends list, I always thought that was kind of dumb. Like, I don't know, best friends list. I mean, if I snap you, I snap you. Some people get sensitive or get, feel some type of way about that kind of stuff, and I feel as if it's, it's nothing personal. We have things to do outside of Snapchat. So I mean, that's how some people can get hurt or feel some type of way or see the wrong thing, or see it the wrong way. So yeah, that's one of the things about Snapchat and other social media.
Okay, so what advice would you give to somebody that's like, hey, I'm struggling with boundaries, whether that's social media, being on their phone, even watching movies, TV, playing video games? What advice would you guys give to your peers?
Have your parents set a time limit. Like you can't do these certain apps or things from like 7 a.m. to 10.
Do you have those kind of restrictions?
Yeah, I have them on my computer.
Did your parents like make you put them on? Did you ask?
No, my parents put them on for me, and I think it's kind of really helped because I don't spend a lot of time now.
That's great.
I feel like if you're really struggling, the best thing to do is just delete the app, get rid of it completely. I know I've done it a couple times and it's really helped.
For me, it's just like if it's not in the room with me, I don't think about it. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Just put it away, and then you won't be attracted to it as much.
Yeah, speaking of keeping it out of sight, John, do you mind sharing what you do? Because what you told me at lunch, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I am convicted.
Yeah, so before I go to bed, I'll always charge it in a totally separate room. Because I noticed before I would have the temptation to like not even get out of bed, just roll over, pick it up, and start scrolling or just talk to my friends. So I just totally put it out of my room, and that way, so I wake up in the morning, I put it in my bag, and I usually don't check it till after school or even after practice. So it's just like totally not even there. So that really helps me.
That's good. I have my phone like right by my head when I go to sleep, which is now that I think about it, that's so embarrassing. Cap, what about you?
I'm not gonna lie. I keep my phone on ring all the time because I'm just afraid of like if someone needs me or if there's an emergency. But the best thing you can possibly do is put your phone on do not disturb, and not answer until the next morning. That's the best thing. But John, what John does is pretty impressive. I couldn't do that. But the best thing you can do is put on D&D and look at your notifications the next day. Yeah.
Okay, what's one thing that you wish your parents understood about technology at your age?
I think I speak for a lot of people. This is involving video games. I feel like they tell you to like like when you're on a video game, I feel like they say pause the online game. And really you can't pause an online game. So is there any way I can do it in like 5 minutes? Like I feel like I speak for a lot of people there.
And I speak for a lot of adults. Their answer is probably no. I want you to do it now, which that's how my mom was, but valid, very valid. Thanks, Drew. Anybody else?
I would kind of hope that maybe my parents and like other members of like other people's parents too could like understand more how while technology can be kind of a negative and toxic, like there are some really good positives to technology because I think a lot of parents take a very like technology is really bad, like we should not give our kids these, social media and whatnot, but I think that it'd be nice if they could understand a bit more that there are some positives for sure. So.
Do you guys ever feel like there's a double standard? Like we tell young people, like don't use technology or things, limit your time, but then you see adults doing the thing that they're telling you not to do. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I'd say it's like everyone. I mean, I feel like you walk down the street, you're in your car, you look over, everyone's on their phone. It's no matter the age, and it's I don't know. I feel like it can really be a negative in that way that everyone's just really addicted to it. No matter the age, I feel like it goes with everyone. Yeah. So.
Screens can definitely draw your eyes within the matter of seconds. So I think it can be very addicting, and I forgot my thought. Someone go.
I think someone said during lunch that they've seen some people on their phone while at dinner or in a restaurant. Like, why not connect with your family instead?
Thoughts on that, guys? How many of you have been out to dinner and you've seen a family or a group of people on their phone? How many of you have been offenders of that? Me? Okay.
My parents are very like no technology at dinner. Like we really try to have communication with each other and not be on our phones the whole time. So I think that's great.
Same with my family. I was very surprised when I found out that like at home people are on their phones during dinner because my mom is absolutely amazing and she cooks every day for us, which I really appreciate. I love you, Mom. But we always have dinner together, and she makes sure of that, that we're always like sitting, and like we never really think to like bring our phones with us. So I think that's really nice, and I'm glad my mom does that.
I think either of you guys mentioned something about when you see a parent out to dinner with little kids. Do you want to expand on that thought and what we talked about?
I mean, there's like pros and cons. Like I mean, sometimes it's best because sometimes, I mean, parents, it's different when you're a parent and we won't understand until we are parents. So, consider, I have nieces, so like if I want to be left alone, I just give them my phone and let them watch something educational. It's better when you give them something educational on the screen than something like not that won't benefit them. So I think one way of doing that is giving them something educational to watch and for them to have your free time because kids are annoying. I'm not gonna lie, kids are very annoying, and I know it myself. I'm a troublemaker, so I think it's best you just give them something to watch and keep them occupied, but something that will benefit them.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say it's hard for us to judge because none of us are parents, obviously. But
Being a parent is hard.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think you need a balance. Like, I don't think we should judge any parent who, is who gives their kid technology while they're out to dinner, because that's a stressful time. You need to order all this kind of stuff. But I think it's also important to think about maybe having options. They give you the little menus that the kids can color on, so maybe give them that instead so they're not glued to their devices.
Yeah, I love those. I remember those. Those are great.
Same. I think I still get those with my food sometimes. I'm guilty of that. But
I'm 18 and I still do it. I love them.
Yeah, another distraction is definitely a good idea other than screens. The coloring menus, I love those things. Like sometimes when the table had wasn't flat, I would color and it would give little patterns. It was really cool. But this might just be me because I was a bookworm. I am a bookworm. But I would bring books to restaurants and that would be my distraction. But definitely crayons is a really good idea.
That's all you need.
Crayons. The answer, crayons. Okay, so what do you guys fill your time with when you're not using technology? Like if you were to tell somebody, hey, put down your phone, you should be doing this. What would you say that would be?
Read a book.
Somewhere Miss Jensen is quaking.
I'd say play a sport because it's active and you can come back to that later and you can just be outside.
Yeah, as much as I would love to say that I would just read a book, I don't think that's a very honest option for me. But I think either taking a walk or, ask your friends, hey, do you guys want to hang out a little bit later? Maybe go to a park, hang out at the mall. Just do something that doesn't have you glued to your device.
Yeah, I feel like so often on social media, people are just like, wow, this person did something really cool. I wish I could do that. And they just keep on scrolling and keep on feeling bad for themselves. You just got to go out there and do something. You just got to ask your friends, hey, let's go do something fun. And, instead of just waiting around and looking at your phone all day.
Yeah, you should actually socialize in person instead of through a screen. I think that's really important to connect with your friends and say, hey, do you want to go for a walk or just do something together that's not on the screen?
I think definitely finding a hobby is a really good idea. If you're really into something that can be an extracurricular, that's great because that'll take up a lot of your time. And I am really happy that I found theater because I've been really enjoying doing that at this school. But also if it's just something if you're an introvert and you want to be at home alone, you can find other things to do. I found cross-stitching, which is really time consuming, but it's just relaxing to just do something over and over again. So that's kind of something that I'll do when I have a little bit of extra time.
I'm an extrovert. I hate being alone. I can be, but to answer your question, I'll probably go on a walk. Go to the park to hoop with my friends, just get out the house. Sometimes I don't even like to be on my phone. I just like to be out, make noise, be a kid, and, do all those good things. So, just get outside, keep your phone on you, but go outside, go to a hoop park, go on a hike. Hikes are nice. Weather's been nice lately. It's good times, so.
I can't wait till I can drive and I can go places with friends. It's just hey, you want to go here? And I just drive there instead of, Mom, take me, please.
So true, so true. Hey, so I know when I reached out to Grace and Jason, you guys both were I don't know if I should be on the panel. I don't really use social media or technology. Do you guys ever feel weird or left out because you don't have that? Or how do you feel and where do you stand with that decision? Is it your decision? Was it your parents'?
Yeah, so for me, it was my parents' decision. They are not super big on technology. They mostly use it to like accomplish a specific task, like whether it be communicating with other family or friends or something like that. But honestly, like social media is not really a huge part of my life because not a lot of my friends have it, only a few of them do. So it's not something that I think about or worry about or like bug my parents about getting.
For me, it was my parents' decision. They don't like me showing my face to the world and just being like, hey, here I am, this is what I look like, giving away all the information about myself. And I don't really feel left out because not a lot of my friends have it. They don't post pictures of themselves doing things without me. So, yeah.
Speaking of that, there's something called a digital footprint. Do you guys know what that is? Like what's your online persona, what's being posted of you? And you made me think of that when you said your parents don't like your picture being on the internet. What are your thoughts on parents posting pictures of their child, like, or babies? I was talking to Mr. Shoppett about this, and we both were like, wow, like, essentially your digital footprint starts before you even own a phone or can talk, right? Like sometimes it's like when you're first born. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? What would you tell a parent that's posting pictures of their kid?
I mean, you would hope your parents aren't posting like weird things about you. So, I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, your parents are just proud of having you. So, I mean, it's cool to be posted. But you know, there's times like my mom has an Instagram and she'd be posting willy-nilly just everything, and I'm telling her to chill. Like, let me see what you're posting. So there's like there's like as you're a kid it's fine, but like as you grow older, like I don't want sometimes parents don't realize like we don't look good in the picture, but they do, and we don't want that, or I don't want that. So I mean, sometimes ask your parents, be like, let me see what you're posting before you post it. So that's what I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's up to the parents, It's how they feel about their privacy and how they want to go about it.
Okay, so this is my question for the high schoolers. When it comes to posting things or having an online presence online, do you think as you're applying for jobs and colleges, should your application also include being based off of what you've posted on social media?
I mean, yes and no. Yes, because sometimes, jobs have to know what type of applicant they're getting, whether the person, is a good person or is a bad person. But sometimes something that happened 3 years ago doesn't necessarily mean you are what you were then. So, I mean, there's just pros and cons to it.
Yeah, you just have to be conscious about what you're posting. I feel like so many people, they have public accounts on Instagram or whatever social media, and they just post whatever they want. They don't really think about the consequences that go along with that. And so when they get a job a couple of years later, even, and they look back, it's like, oh, we can't take you. You just have to realize that, you set yourself up for that, and it sucks, but that's just kind of how the world looks at it nowadays.
Yeah, if it's public, it's public. I mean, you can always have like a private account if you just want to display for your friends and everything, but if you choose to go public, then it will be there forever, and social media can come back to haunt you. But it's definitely a decision that you need to think about. Like, if it is public, then I am putting it out for the world to see, and I can't stop anybody from seeing it. So it's definitely something you should consider.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's all about also just being kind of aware of what you're posting and what you're putting out there, making sure nothing is, I mean, obviously enjoy what you're posting and like take pride in what you're posting, but just knowing kind of the line and kind of what you want to put out there, and knowing, yes, somebody could find this in the future. Would I be, ashamed of it? Would it kind of taint my reputation if I was trying to apply somewhere, or, whatever. So I think while it is important to like be aware of what you're posting, it also should be like your choice. So if your job is, scrolling back like years and years, then kind of like Kathy said, like I think that it's kind of in between. It's important if there's a lot of red flags, but it's not to the point where they need to be scrolling back like really far.
Yeah, they shouldn't look back to like a 9-year-old tweet. You know? Yeah.
They shouldn't, but they can. That's the
can.
crazy thing,
That's the scary
right?
part.
So yeah, because there's pictures of me like online from when I was in high school, and I'm like, how did like that account is deleted, but it's never really deleted. And sometimes I think I have to check myself, and I have to think of like, does this need to be posted? Could this impact? So John, what you were saying, I think is like such a good reminder for me too. So, okay, so another question I had is, how do you think technology has drawn you closer to God or away from God?
Sometimes there are things that I do see on social media that I feel like that are drawing me away from God, but I also feel like there are things that like push me closer to God. Like on my TikTok feed, you'll see a lot of like obviously food, sports, shoes, dress, or clothes, all that good stuff. But you also see some like Christian stuff, to remind me that you gotta stay in touch with God and spend time with God, and do those little prayers, do those to spend time with Him, and be able to separate yourself from the outside world and just spend time with our Father. So those are a few things.
I feel like there is like definitely ways to that social media can pull you closer, like posting prayers, posting all that. I know that it can really help people that need it in that time. However, I think when you're on it too much, it kind of becomes like an idol because you're like on it constantly, and it's just pulling you away farther from God.
Well, it's not even just social media, right? It could be video games or something like that. And I'm not saying video games are bad, but I think there's a point where we have to kind of check ourselves and be like, but like, what else could I be doing with my time?
It can definitely be a bit of both. It can draw you closer because online you can definitely find community with others, but if you spend too much time like on screens, that could take away from time you spend with God and building your relationship with Him.
Great, thanks guys. Anything else that you wanted to share with your classmates or teachers?
Add me at Supreme_K42. That's my Instagram handle, and obey_42. Obey_Cappy42 Snapchat. Just letting y'all know.
Don't add him.
Come on, baby. You know how we get down.
Okay. Thanks so much, guys. So here's my last question, and let's start with Jason again. For the question for all of you guys, for 24 hours, you had to give up food, or you had to give up all technology, except for your schoolwork, because that's important. Which would you choose, food or technology, like your phone, computer?
I'd say probably technology.
I would choose food 100% over technology. Like, I can live without video games and all that, but like food, I need that.
Yeah, I would definitely live without technology.
I love food and I have a big stomach, so definitely give up technology.
I'm actually gonna say food, I think, which sounds kind of harsh, but I have a lot of friends online and I like to talk to them, so.
I'm sorry, I have to eat. I'm sorry.
I'm always hungry, so I'll give up technology. I need the food.
Wait, you'd want technology or you'd want?
I'll give up the technology, but I need the food.
Yeah, I think we all like to eat. So, well, hey, thank you guys so much for being on this panel, and I just have really appreciated having these conversations with you guys, and I'm sure that if you have a classmate that wants to ask you guys any questions, or like, hey, you had mentioned this, or I was wondering your advice on this, would you guys be open to hearing from, or having people ask you guys questions?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in finding out more, feel free and reach out to your teachers, the students on the panel. I just think it's really good to, understand that technology isn't bad, right? Like, I think especially the last 2 years, it's really helped us. It can draw us closer to people. But I also think making sure that we have healthy boundaries and that we are open and thinking about what we post or how we're using our time. And I think, Grace, you said it really well at lunch on Tuesday, and that really convicted me is, you said something like, I'm not on social media because there's other things I can be doing, and if I haven't spent time with God, like, should I be, like, watching TV or binge watching something or on social media, and that got me. So Kings, I just want to leave you on that note to think about, like, you know, where do we put our priorities and where do we spend our time? So thank you guys so much again. Thanks, Kings, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks so much.